including being overweight. So, scientifically, you cannot drink alkaline water and it makes your cells alkalytic. The closer you are to nature, the healthier you'll be.
All right. Hello, and grand rising to everyone. We are live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and on Instagram. Hello, you are in the Mind of Nature, hosted by Dr. Zarif, the nutritionist. Thank you all so much for joining us here today. We are going to be discussing a couple of things. First off is authority evidence, the 10 biggest mistakes food authorities have made, and also the 7 nutrition truths most food authorities now agree on in 2026. So let's go ahead and get it started. Dr. Zarif, go ahead and join me here so we can get started. Hello to you.
Hello, wonderful. It's great to be here. We are on our way to another wonderful show. I want to definitely invite everybody in. Let's get a nice warm cup of something or a nice cool cup of something and kick back. I want you to make sure that you pay attention to some of the things that we say today because we're talking about people that have our food in their hands.
Mhm.
We really want to make a big difference. We really want to make a big difference. Also, for those of you that get intimidated or you feel very uneasy as we talk about nutrition, that is something that is normal. So don't feel that just because you're being defensive, you're just being challenged with what you've known all of this time or think you know. So it makes you a little bit defensive. And I do want to let you know that I've been there too. I know how it feels. But when you're changing, this is just part of the process. As we welcome in those people from all over today, those people that we miss sometimes, and not saying your name, it's just because things are moving pretty fast here. The production is using our attention. So we want to make sure that you know that we do care, even if we miss you during this show and other shows. Care?
Yes, absolutely. I want to say hello to some folks that have joined us here that we always appreciate. Elissa, hello, how are you? Good morning to you as well. Thank you so much for joining us. Michelle Gentle, hey, how are you? Good to see you. Good to see you, Miss. And happy birthday, Chantel. She's not here, but happy birthday, Chantel. But yes, we want to just say again that we are live streaming on Facebook, YouTube. Now, I see Instagram may or may not be on, but either way it goes, that's why we, again, have different platforms for everyone to be able to join us on.
Yes, good news. Just in,
News
we
is
have
good.
Instagram is up and Instagram is working.
Okay.
So Yolanda Rogers and I love you, Michelle. Thank you very much for being here. We're going to have great people are here for a lot of wonderful sharing today. We're talking about authority, evidence, and conflict to start off with, because when we talk about these food authorities, we got to know a little bit more about it. And I know that it's been pretty scandalous here lately because we don't know up from down, who left from right. So we're going to see if we can do a little better with that understanding today. Um, One of the things that I wanted to share with you just to start off, everybody, is that we're not here to see if you're perfect. We're not here to see if you have no errors in your life. That's not what this is about. We want you to understand more about the political side of this eating situation. We want you to understand what it's been tampered with, just like everything else. Look at everything. Some people even say the Bible was tampered with, or you got the other different types of political nutrition, meaning nutrition has been tampered with. Many things, science has been tampered with. Because we get to know even more about what we are living in through the conflict that is presently going on now. Now, when we say authority, we're talking about those people that have been given the power to make decisions for people. And when I say that, I mean those people that we are, the things that we are facing. So I want us to use our energy, not so much for fighting each other, but working together. Those people that have come to grips, and even better now that they are or we do better working together. Okay. So now there's authority, there's evidence, and we have plenty of evidence. I'm going to go over that with you so you can know the sources that we use here on Mind of Nature. Whether food authorities are dangerous or trustworthy in itself is a nuanced question. It depends on which authority and how evidence is used and whether conflicts or interests exist. So let's break it down so everybody will get a good understanding of this. First of all, the uh, finding out what in the hell what is food authorities in the first place. And this is a title that is used generally, that includes your organizations that create dietary guidelines, safety regulations, and nutrition recommendations, such as the FDA. Now, you've probably heard me say these over and over, but these are our references. These are what help us to explain or to give you evidence that something works or doesn't work. Something is not healthy or something that is healthy. And we start off with the FDA. FDA stands for Food and Drug Administration, and it regulates the food safety, additives, and labeling. Then there's the USDA. The U.S. Department of Agriculture creates the dietary guidelines for Americans. That's the one that we usually turn to when we're having any type of discrepancies with food. And then there is the WHO, also known as WHO, World Health Organization, and this is global nutrition and health guidance. That's when we talk about the whole world. A lot of what we talk about is what happens over in the United States, but this is when we talk about WHO versus, for instance, the USDA. USDA is just telling you already, the United States Department of Agriculture. But who is the World Health Organization? So just know the difference between the global nutrition and health guidance and the dietary guides for Americans. Now, there's another, when we talk about global, there's one very respected organization called the EFSA, which is the European Food Safety Authority. The EU, you probably heard that during all this war climate and political climate. The EU Food Safety Regulator, very, very important. This gives us a great idea of how or these organizations can also give us an idea of how clean our water is. It can the chemicals that may be in the water and things of that nature, so that we'll have a good handle on things not to over consume. And that's what happens a lot when we overdo it. And the body is very resilient when it comes to overcoming or bypassing some of the things that we eat and some of the things that we drink. But we continue to build these different organizations because they actually approve those foods that are best for us and our families. Without them, we would be gambling every time we put something in our mouth, every time. And we don't, that's not really freedom. National academies, scientific committees is another group that they review nutrition science, and their primary goal is public safety and disease prevention, and that's probably what yours and mine are also. We're talking about the primary thing, or the bottom line is public safety and disease prevention. And that's why we have so many arguments today about measles or other different COVID-19, all these different things that we face as far as disease and illnesses. We now know that it's bigger than just going to the store, putting it in our cart, and then buying it. There is a whole life behind and within food authority and food insecurity. As you see on the map, all of these areas that, especially those dark areas, the dark areas, this is where it is most pathetic, where there's no food, hardly any food there. But when you look at all the way down, the gray parts here, there's just no data that is expressing whether the food is there or not, or food is accessible, available or not. Then you have the, as you see, the other different colors here. You see that they show you the percentages of the accessibility of food, and you see how it is definitely affected a lot of the world, and we have a lot of work to do. But don't get nervous yet. We have a lot of this is, of course, AI. You can see our faces and stuff, but don't be afraid of this. This is just to give you an idea of how we are pretty much being led into these different restaurants, and our days are made up of or our activity, our social activity just includes eating out more. And I understand getting out more and having fun, but we need to find another way other than just saying, hey, let's go over here to this restaurant and eat until we fall out. There are ways that you can change that, and that is about reprioritizing the food that you eat, reprioritizing the people that you hang out with and where you're going to, because the food, we cannot live without it. And if it's not trustworthy, then what is? So why they can be trustworthy. And when functioning properly, these agencies actually provide major benefits. So first we go to the evidence-based reviews. The recommendations usually they come from the systematic reviews of thousands of studies. That's how we get why are we okay with eating certain things and you don't know much about them. Then the evidence-based reviews, this has set a foundation in which we can rely upon the discoveries and the studies as we have a systematic review with thousands of studies. Now, the panels that often include epidemiologists, physicians, nutrition scientists, toxicologists, and other professionals that give us a great panel, and they make the decisions and the consensus, the conclusions that are made from the studies and the use of these evidence-based reviews. Now, when it comes to food safety, we always tell you read the label, but we have to even go beyond that. You know why? Because when we just tell you to read the label, We know that all you're going to see is what they want you to see and read. And when I say they, I'm talking about food manufacturers, because if you don't know it by now, I'll tell you right now that food is not just for your stomachs. It is a huge multi-billion dollar industry, and people rely upon the um, distribution as well as the quality of these foods, and it's an ongoing process. It's not like it used to be. I know a lot of people reflect from the past, but many things have changed. The equipment that is used has changed. The attitude or the understanding of food has changed. The way the different processes to use the processed foods or ultra processed foods, all of those things have changed. And for the most part, they do even better than they did upon uh, finding out about them or their days of origination. When functioning properly, these agencies, they actually provide major benefits. So some of the benefits of the recommendation usually coming from the systematic reviews, as we talked about before. But some of the things I want you to keep in mind as far as food safety is concerned is the food authorities have prevented many disasters. So I don't want to come off as I'm villainizing. I don't want to um, make people sound like they're worse than they are. Because there are many people that without them, we would be in a real terrible state of being. Examples: identifying trans fats as harmful. That's one of the things that these organizations do, regulating the foodborne pathogens. And that's very important. Other than that, we would be infected by the different bacteria that sometimes has been or is a part of the food that we eat. Setting limits on mercury, pesticides, and additives. Without them, contamination, fraud, and unsafe additives would be far more common. So, that again, contamination, fraud, and unsafe additives. So, all of this is what we're facing today. But again, keep that positive attitude because it doesn't get worse, it gets better. Public health improvements, the guidelines, they actually have helped us to reduce iodine deficiency, vitamin deficiency diseases, and foodborne illness outbreaks. So this is all beautiful because now with these types of discoveries, it's not just to say, "Oh, this product is better than that product," but it is also there to protect us and to lower the risk of different diseases from eating different types of food. So, why do some people distrust them? So, the criticism often centers around industry influence, slow policy changes, and outdated science. And that's a big thing because some people are still talking about the same stuff that people were talking about 50, 60 years ago. They're still thinking that for instance, like there's vitamins that you don't even hear about anymore, and they used to lead in their category, like vitamin E, for instance. And then you have other things that people used to use, but they don't use anymore. And some of the things that are really hot, like collagen, is really hot right now, but you will see is not anywhere near as hot as it used to be because sometimes it's political. People put a lot of money, organizations put a lot of money behind certain products. We go and buy it, we swear by it, temporarily, and then it's on to the next thing that is trending. Now, some advisory committees have had members connected to daily and the dairy, pardon me, industry, the meat industry, processed food companies, and this actually raises concerns about the conflicts of interest. So let's look at the slow updates of new science. The nutrition science evolves quickly. And you, as you notice, like, we were just thinking about sea moss a couple of years ago, and now is not, as everything else does, it fizzles out. They're still drawing from the excitement of sea moss, but and it is something that you can eat, and there are some minerals and vitamins there. There's nutrients there. However, the panacea that most people was making it, just like moringa and other wonderful products and coming from wonderful sources, nevertheless, they are hot for a moment and they usually sizzle out because variety is a part of the allocation of food. Now, the this, when it comes to the concerns, like we were actually raised the concerns about the conflicts of interest. And so if we look at like the nutrition science, we should go right into cholesterol recommendation change. uh, the saturated fat debates continue. All of these are things that's like right now that you will hear myself along with other activists, teachers, physicians, so forth talk about. Saturated fat debates continue. The sugar guidance strengthened only recently. The government processes are slow, but uh, slow by design. They want you to go to bureaucracy because that's part of how they keep their part of government strong, and they also secure these jobs, had court dates. All of this stuff is planned. It's a system. Also, these updates lag behind merging research. So a lot of things have been researched but not released yet because, again, keeping these things in a system is what really gives the government more control. The political and the economical pressures, such as the agricultural policy, can influence dietary messaging. For example, the USDA promotes both agriculture um, markets and dietary advice, which critics say is a conflict. But I don't think that they're a conflict. I think you should collaborate and get the best for the people, and the people, that's us. As we continue to look at around the world, the food inflation and the food price inflation around the world, and so forth. All of these are things that you may not consider when you are eating, but there are way more challenges than just eating itself. As I'll wrap that here, and we're going to go to Care and see if we have any questions, and she'll also give you advice as how to ask those questions. Care?
Thank you so much, Dr. Zarif. Great information. As far as any questions, I don't see any questions here. Shirley, gentle, smart. Hey, good morning. Good morning. How are you? Um, we are live streaming, everyone, on Facebook. We're on YouTube and on Instagram. So get the word out. Go ahead and share, share the live stream. Let me see here. Yolanda does have a comment. Says USA food is not the same as other countries, and that's sad. Yes, you hear that all the time. As far as U.S. foods being different from other countries, what are your thoughts on that, Dr. Zari?
I think there's things that they don't allow. She's absolutely right. There are things that aren't allowed in certain countries, and that's because those countries have certain boundaries, certain laws that they have to make people more aware of. Well, first of all, the food authority being conscious and being concerned with the long-term use of certain foods. So you have those kind of foods that people won't eat because of might be certain ingredients within that food that may cause a problem. There's other foods that may cause deformities, or there's foods that will cause different, maybe when it comes to your the uh, different diseases that we have, because we have, I'm just kind of uh, thinking about the foods that we can eat that can increase your risk of disease, and then you have foods that actually reduce your risk of disease. And these people from different countries all around the world, they look at this, like if you look at this British pack of meat here and it says beef mince, well, this is, um, you see how people are getting more aware of 55% less plastic. So they're talking about now, when they say plastic, they're not talking about the meat itself, they're talking about the packaging. And the packaging has changed a lot. And they are also wanting to share more of the biodegradable materials when they put their food in it. So yeah, thank you as always, Big Mama. You right on the case. What up, though? That's really, I'm really glad that you brought that up, because these are things that we deal with on a daily basis. Care?
Yes, absolutely. And like you said, I know other countries they'll take out like the red. You know, you have red number so and so, yellow number so and so. Like that stuff too is also like eliminated. So, like you said, yeah, definitely different things going on as far as ingredients too.
Yes.
Dr. James Thompson, hello, hello, buddy. Good morning to you. Good to see you there. We always appreciate you here. I'm doing my the little heart heart with the hands. But yeah,
All right.
thank you so much. We do appreciate you, Dr. Zarif.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get back on. Dr. James, good morning to you. Thank you for being here. And Dr. James, feel free if you want to come on up. You're at home. The other things that I wanted to look, if you look at what is healthy nutrition, I'm going to leave that up for a minute while I also share with you that throughout the modern nutrition history, food authorities they've made several major mistakes. Now, we talked about the good stuff. This is good also, because to identify the mistakes is another gift that we have, or an advantage, because we have those particular organizations that are set up to do so. So, usually, due to the limited science, the industry pressure, or the premature conclusions, all of those things that are a part of the mistakes that are made by food authorities, understanding that these errors, they help us to improve future dietary guidance. Now, I'm going to go through about 10. I'm see if I can just shoot through about 10 of these things that are very important when it comes to policy and guidance. So let's move along to low fat. Low fat diet craze. You remember that? You were here. Most of everybody that's listening, this happened between the 1970s and the 2000s. Now, in 1977, the United States government advised Americans to reduce total fat consumption, which led to decades of low fat products filled with sugar and refined carbohydrates. That's right. Fat makes food taste better. So when we stopped eating, or we had lowered the fat in the products, guess what? They didn't taste good. You know what they made up? They took the sugar to make up for the taste and the refined carbohydrates. So these may have been sweeteners, and they may have been other combinations of other foods to bring out that particular flavor in those certain foods. Later research just showed that not all fats are harmful. and that's when we get into more of the low fat processed food. But let's move on. And like those different oils or these other fats from nut seeds and olive oil, they may reduce cardiovascular risk. When you hear that, that doesn't mean that the study is saying that it does. It says that it may, because it shows different factors about the food, such as the poly unsaturated fat, such as the monounsaturated fat versus saturated fat. We talk about that almost every show because it is very impactful. Now, the explosion of sugar, low fat processed foods, and the rising of obesity and diabetes rates, it's like clear as the nose on your face, right? Because this is something that, again, you know that the organizations, the different food organizations and the food authorities are keeping their eyes on the prize, and that is the foods that we eat, and are there any changes that we have to make. Do you know that right now, I mean, back in the 40s, and I'm talking about this is before I was born, and maybe before a lot of you were born. Oh, well, this is where the different uh, propagation of eating meat, eating getting that protein, that meat protein. And they also made sure that you felt very insecure about eating plants, because when you ate plants, they'll say, oh, that stuff is weak. You eat that meat, and meat will build your muscles up. Now, not to date, and we've seen a lot of guys that are muscles everywhere, even women today, or females, if you prefer, that are eating and have eaten from just meat. Now, when I look at this meat, is for me, I'm not a meat eater. I am not salivating over what I'm looking at. Maybe the pistachios, yeah, but I'm the rest of the stuff. They don't get a chance, because we already as black men have a lot of propensities for different diseases, and I don't want to make like we're not leading in that, but there are some, especially like prostate and like hypertension and cholesterol. These are some of the things that we should keep our eyes on. But the good nutrition research is showing us more and more why it's important to take the risk, and the risk is lower when you are eating the whole food plant-based foods versus the foods that are from in the same category of different meats, fish, chicken, turkey, those kinds of things. To me, those foods are foods that taste good. I can't take that away from you, but I know that when you hear that they also reduce diseases or have the potential of reducing disease, that must impact you in the most constructive way. Okay. The next thing is of the original food pyramid. What a joke. But again, you cannot teach a nation how to eat from a cookie cutter system. We are all different kind of people. We have different tastes. There'll never, ever, never be a time that the earth will all become vegetarians and vegans, unless all of the animals from the planet are removed, and that takes a whole lot, including insects. So, just think about that. Oh, did I have a? Okay, well, thank you. um, the early United States or USDA food pyramid placed refined carbohydrates at the base. Remember that, all those carbohydrates at the base, the bottom of the pyramid, recommending 6 to 11 servings of bread, cereal, rice, and pasta. How could that be? Now that you understand metabolism and how it's converted to glucose and how it's spread throughout the body, and when you have too much, how the pancreas releases the insulin, and the insulin takes the sugar to each cell for energy. But that's a whole different understanding of diabetes now, son. You know, they used to call diabetes sugar. He got he got sugar, you know, or they would say sugar foot, or you know, things like that. And that was usually just thought of not including exercise and rest and community and all that, but they just simply said stop eating sugar. And sugar came with it a lot of other diseases too, including oral hygiene problems. Many people definitely lost a big smile. Well, they might have had a smile, but they were showing all gums. And this came all the way back to the days when we were, or our people were actually chopping down the sugar cane and eating it to fill themselves up also. And you could tell by that because they lost a lot of teeth during that time. This we're still talking about political. This is, you know, talking about when we talk about political things, uh, we have the chance of having some of the foods that we need to hear about. They can be ignored, like ignoring trans fats for decades. Artificial trans fats were widely used in processed foods for decades before being recognized as being dangerous, and research linking them to heart disease faced resistance. And trans fats were only banned in the United States. Excuse me. Boy, I couldn't stop that one. Um, no, I don't have a cold. Thank you. And the trans fats were only banned in the United States around 2018 after a long advocacy, and the impact it impacted millions exposed to a harmful industrial fat. So this is good. That means that that's progress made, and when we have that progress, it really makes a real big difference in the things that we allow to go in our body. Now, these are bags of roasted chicken, and this we have this thing with chicken. We just seem like we can't let it go, but it doesn't matter if you are a person that are making a decision that, you know what, I know that this is unhealthy for me. I know if I eat too much of it, it can make me sick. I know it can give me long-term or chronic illness. I'm not going to put that in my body. But if you override that and say, well, you know what, I heard what you said, but I'm eating my, you know, the different, I'm going to eat what I want to eat, you know, and you don't include some of the food and nutrition statistics, then, you know, no hard feelings. Everybody, you are ahead of that. Body was given to you. But I would suggest, if you are about living and thriving, that you eat the best foods that are available. And that doesn't mean that everything in your cart has to be organic. It's great, it's ideal if you can, but if you can't get the foods that are that you feel that look the healthiest, the freshest, and that's what you go by. And make sure that you wash your food, not just rinse it off with some cold water. Wash your foods, because remember, again, the public, you don't know who's sneezed or coughed or handled your potatoes and tomatoes and onions before you did. So keep that in mind too. And you don't have to be spooky about it. Just know that through knowing and understanding the food game, as far as the food authorities, and you'll get a good idea of what is dangerous and what is trustworthy. A few more things, and then we're going to go back to care. I wanted to talk about the over emphasizing of calories instead of food quality. And that happened for many, many years. People just talk about the calories, burning calories, burning calories. Now, many dietary guidelines historically focus on calorie counting rather than the quality of the food. The quality of the food. Instead, we got caught up with the aesthetics of the food. You don't see an apple now with a scratch on it. You don't see any types of um, uh, different grapefruit or pears or all of that. The food industry now, they are listening to the people. People won't buy a potato that looks oddly shaped. So now they make sure that if you're getting some of the different rusted, like a Burbank rusted potato, which is what is used for McDonald's and all the rest of those restaurants, those long potato French fries. That is the potato that they use. But if you are using these different types of foods, and you make sure that you wash them and keep in mind some of the things that we talked about today. The modern research shows that the ultra processed foods, refined sugars, the food additives, they play a much larger role in the metabolic disease than calories alone. So if you're just still talking about calories, that was great doing the aerobic. Remember aerobics and bam, 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 and doing your thing. And I remember we used to have for Funkinetics. For those of you that have ever been to one of my classes or any of my classes, it was on and pop in. And that's what we did for years. And now people that didn't keep it up, you find that they are, you can't move the way you used to because there's that long period of time. That period of time you take off and you get weaker and weaker and weaker. And then something hits you and you want to go back and do it. And there's things that your knees won't hold you up, your back is hurting and all that. But know that with one day at a time, one step at a time, you make it a little easier for yourself. Um, Underestimating the ultra processed food. This got to be a big one because for decades, the policies treated all calories similarly regardless of food processing. Only recently have health authorities begun warning strongly about the ultra processed foods, which are linked to obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. How can you eat something or add that into your shopping list and you know that these ultra processed foods, that means the foods that they over process. So when they're processing food, even when they're making your bread, then they want the bread to turn out perfect and perfect slices and the perfect brown top. And they have different baked goods that look like, oh man, look, that looks perfect. They are appealing to our five senses. So what you see here, taste and feel and smell, these are things that the scientists and different professionals know that this is how you get through to people and have them craving, watering, hungry for different foods. Okay. Okay. And I want to, one more thing, the ignoring of traditional and cultural diets. This is sensitive because early dietary guidelines were most based on the Western industrial food systems, ignoring healthier traditional dietary patterns such as Mediterranean diets, African heritage diets, plant dominant traditional diets, and these dietary patterns are now recognized as protective against chronic disease. So that's why you see so much the Mediterranean diets, are known to be healthier, one of the healthier traditional diets, African heritage and plant dominant of the whole food plant base, of course. All of those are very important. The Given the work that I've done in plant, the things that I've been doing for a long time and facing the different types of situations that people find themselves in. Don't you be a part of that. You know, the eating the right foods will keep you um, alive and well. You don't have to, with what I'm talking about, with the balance of people that love you and you love them back. That lets you know what you're going to do with your will and testament and all those other legal papers that you need when you're leaving property behind. Don't allow yourself to just go on a spending spree to buy a lot of stuff you cannot take all that stuff with you when you go. So enjoy your next 30, 25, 20 years, whatever you have left, and make the best out of it. And know that intelligence is a huge part of making a change in your life. The important perspective is even though you make mistakes, all of us make mistakes, so mistakes will occur. Food authorities have also achieved major successes. And that's why I said it gets better before it gets worse. One of the things is eliminating trans fats. That's a huge goal that we had at one time, and that's done now. Reducing nutrient deficiencies like the iodine and the folate, the improving of food safety standards. That's super important because right today, do you see how people go in and you're fired, you're fired, you're fired. I don't like the way you look, you out of here. And then we're left with nothing and with somebody's opinion and people dying unnecessarily. Look what happened to the measles because people stopped listening to reason and professionals. So just keep your mind on the things that are really that we're talking about and really working. So nutrition science is continually evolving. So policies must adapt as evidence improves. Evidence again are those things that we learn by or those things that we use to prove the points, especially through nutritional science. Okay, we're going to go back to care and see if we have any remarks or any comments.
Thank you so much, Dr. Zarif. Let me see here. Darcel says, good morning. Happy, healthy Saturday. Happy, healthy Saturday to you as well. Thank you so much for that. Dr. Zarif, you mentioned, just like we always do, talk about making better choices when it comes to eating healthier foods, whole food, plant-based foods. And so my question to you is, what would you say to someone who says, I mean, I would do that, but my family history, we have diabetes, so it doesn't matter how we eat or what we do. That is something that I'm gonna, get anyway because it's just been in my family. I don't care. It doesn't matter how healthy you eat. What would you say to someone like that has that concern?
Well, I wouldn't agree with them because just because you had a fat uncle or a fat um, grandmother or even if your mother was obese. I know I'm not using fat to talk down to anybody. I'm just having a grown up conversation. So if a person is overweight, it doesn't mean that you're automatically going to be overweight. If you understand that your those four pillars that we talk about all the time, your nutrition, your sleep, your exercise, and being around great people, a great environment, those are the four legs that holds up the foundation of nutritional truths. And the people that feel like, I'm just going to eat like everybody else. Well, if you eat like everybody else and they're getting disease, there's a good chance that you may get it also. But there are also families that you're in where a person may be obese, but their sister isn't obese and she eats up everything in sight. because now we find out through evidence that it's not all just about the food. It's a combination of things. Are you exercising while you're eating healthy? Are you eating healthy and getting a lot of sleep? Are you getting a lot of sleep and taking time to visit your loved ones? Think about that. Those are just four major. There's other things you can add to that, but those you do those four, you can really definitely tell or quantify what's going on with or how that type of system affects you period in life. So I wouldn't agree with a person that feels that just because some family members may be sick or they had cancer or some kind of disease, it doesn't automatically mean that you're going to get the same thing too. If you start now doing things that will help you to extrapolate those nutrients, getting your fiber, your vitamins, your antioxidants, your phytochemicals, all of this stuff that lower the heart risk or heart disease risk of heart disease and cancer and stroke.
Hmm.
A common recommendation for all of the vitamins and the or the fruits and vegetables is to at least get 5 servings daily, and that's going to give you about 400 grams of vitamins and minerals that come from these vegetables and fruits. And we'll say it over and over and over, and then one day you're going to like, "Whoa, how did I know that by heart?" So again, let's go ahead and are there any other questions there, Karen?
There is a comment from Dr. James. Let me see here. It says remaining sources of trans fat include meat consumption and drying our food.
Say that last part again.
Hmm. Well, I'll just read the whole thing. Remaining sources of trans fat include meat consumption and drying our food.
Okay, good. Good. I gotta put that. I'm think I was distracted. Say it one more time, please. One more time.
Oh, got it. Okay. Thank you, Dr. James. Remaining sources of trans fat include meat consumption and frying our food.
Ah, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Because it
Yeah.
was like a good and a bad. It was like we can dry our food. Thank you so much for the clarity. I appreciate that.
Oh, good. That this is right. And then the more that we again, it goes back first of all like a process, for instance. And thank you very much, Dr. James. That's you on point as usual. Um, the thing that I wanted to say about processed food before I forget is that remember process. It means that it can be the simplest thing where you take an apple and bite right into the apple, and now you are processing that food through mastication, through chewing, right? And then there is the other things that you can do, for instance, with machines like these different processors. And you can take that same apple and put it into a processor and make apple sauce. So that is processing. But now, if you want to take the apple sauce and you want to make apple suckers out of it, like lollipops, then you can got to take that pulp from those apples or remove that the pulp, whatever that ultra process entails, to make those apple lollipops.
Hmm.
So and that would be your again the example of those things that are ultra processed. Another ultra processed example could be something like, let's say, chicken, and you take chicken and you process the chicken and you fry it, and or before you fry it you take it and you make all of those mix up all of those the types of ingredients that you need, and might be cutting off certain parts of the chicken. And then there's a process where you're mashing everything together. There may be another process where you're adding preservatives and salt and other flavors to it, and then making it into a shape that you want it, and then giving it. You get the point. Is
Mhm.
the thing is that we have a lot of food that really appeals to our sight and our smell and our touch, taste. All of those are very important, but the ultra processed foods is taking a kernel of corn and making a corn chip. It doesn't even look like its origination, right? It doesn't look like what it started off as.
Right.
And that's the way it is. You can take a lot of food and you can change it, and they do this now. I see that the different chips, Doritos, Fritos, whatever, that they may start off with corn, or they may start off with a potato, or they may start off with another a fruit or a vegetable. But by the time they are ultra processed, there's very little nutrients there for you to eat. Now, based on your diet on whole or minimally processed foods, most guidelines actually emphasize whole foods rather than highly processed products. Healthy staples include vegetables, fruits, whole grains, beans, legumes, and the nuts and seeds. Now, highly processed foods with refined carbs and added sugars and additives, they should be limited. So if you are going to eat those, eat small amounts. Though don't buy that giant bag of sugar and just say, I'm just buying this so that we'll have some for a long time in the pantry. You're gonna eat that sugar up. If it's in the house, it's gonna be in your mouth. And that is so very, very true. So keep in mind these things that you can use as a part of your daily intake. Stay away from those highly processed foods. I want to do one more example, and that is cold cereals. Cold cereals, again, they're refined. They don't only ultra processed cold cereals, but they also refine them. What's the difference? When you refine the food, you actually take the nutrients out. Why do they take the nutrients out? Because those particular nutrients can speed up the expiration dates on this. That's when you have the shelf, and you have expiration. And many of the foods that we buy today are foods that they want to last on the shelf. They don't want them to go so fast. And you'll see that baking has really made a big difference now, also because the foods, or the breads and cakes and so forth, they are they can only be fresh for so long. I rather for my bread to be a little aged, because the doughy stuff I don't. I like the grainy stuff, the whole grains. But that's just me. So anyway, let's go on to why the whole foods, because I'm talking about the whole grains now in the bread, why they're better than refined grains. And that's the authorities now strongly emphasize that fiber rich whole grains instead of refined grains like white bread and sugary cereals. The benefits are just it's very simple, but I'll go over them anyway. Better blood sugar control. This is huge because so many people have problems with high blood sugar. Hyperglycemia is called. And this is something that you can control. It's not, you don't have, it's something you first you go and you get diagnosed. So you'll be in the hands of professional help. And then you start doing the things that you can maintain or manage the things that may have been discovered during your exam. The next thing, to improve heart health. Now, earlier this year, I was fortunate to talk with Dr. James and a group of wonderful professionals about heart health, and it was magnificent. And that time goes fast, so just watch out for Dr. James for his upcoming events. And when he says, like, you are invited, this is free, you can come to this particular event and all that, I suggest that you take him up on it, because it was just all that and more. The other thing to keep in mind would be to reduce your chronic disease. Now, chronic diseases are the diseases that we get over time, and they're the long lasting diseases. Well, we want to reduce the risk by including more of the fresh vegetables and fresh fruit and grains, nuts, legumes, and so forth. Very important. If you don't like beans, well, I feel sorry for you. But if you like the beans that I'm talking about, your pinto beans, your navy beans, your kidney beans, these are uh, foods that are just packed with nutrients, and you can actually have a bowl of beans and have everything that you need to be healthy and to have energy and to live on. Beans are they have a long shelf life. They just, all you need is water and some fire, and of course you need some to make it taste good. But I'm telling you, a plain bowl of beans tastes mighty good when you're starving. So it can be we can look at that differently. So anyway, reduce the risk of chronic disease. That's where I was getting at. And that, reducing that, is just simply eating better foods. Do not put junk in this incredible, unmatching, unequal body that you have. You have a lot of things that continues life in that body. So keep that in mind. Um, I'll go over one more thing, and then we'll go back to any questions, because this is, we're talking about eating the right foods and shopping. And look at this gentleman right here is actually holding the apple in his hand, and that's how we can do when we go to any stores. But what they're not showing is that you can also put that apple back where you got it. And just because it looks like it's clean and that it's fresh and new, you make sure that you use your um, uh, I guess your selection properties and make sure that you got the right. You want to get foods that he's looking for, like soft spots. There's usually like soft spots in the apples, oranges, and pears. You don't want that because it might be already ripe and too ripe if you're going to go home and wait for a few days before you eat it. Now, back to the nutritional facts. The nutrition science now recognizes that the type of fat matters more than the total amount. So recommended fats just include nut fat, the nuts, that are the different nuts. You don't have to eat a lot of nuts. You just eat like a few nuts, eat and seeds. Don't, like just get a big old thing, a handful, and throw them down your throat. Take your time, get a few, and you will be excited about how few you need it. You don't need to have a big bowl of this stuff. Olive oil is the same. Some fish people still use, and these fats can actually support cardiovascular health and reduce inflammation, which a lot of people have on a daily basis, that inflammation. Okay, I'm going to stop right there and see if we have any comments, and I appreciate it, or comments or questions. Okay,
Okay.
Care?
Yes, thank you. Comment, looking sharp and lovely, Dr. Doc and Carolyn. That is from Not Your Average Joe. Good
Hey,
morning, great morning
oh,
to you.
while he's there, Care, excuse me, your average Joe, if you have like a place where people can also, your average Joe is making exercise videos now. And think he's going through, day by day. Like, I think the last one I saw was day 6, I think 6 or 7. And yeah, join him on that for those of you that want to get back into movement and do your exercise.
Ooh.
Your uh, uh, Joe will be there, not your ordinary Joe, and he's a wonderful, wonderful guy. That's my brother, and we definitely love what we do. Go and check him out. Your ordinary Joe did he send any link or anything?
No.
Okay, but check him out, everybody. Joe, when you get a chance, send me that or whatever you need to get people to come your way. I definitely will support you there. Okay, so we have really great points made today, and we got a lot of things done. I'm going to go over to Instagram right fast. And I want to, oh, Yolanda 7587 is in the house. Good morning to you, Big Mama. And we also have Sky Aim Productions in the house. Thank you so much for always being there. Sky Aim has been here from the beginning and getting better and better. Uh, talk to L. Davis is here, and Foya Pendum is here. Bit of that. Wow, y'all challenged me this morning with these names. And BJ the Boss, got that one. Okay, great. And Sarah from SAC, or it might be Sarah from Sacramento, is in the house. Thank you all for being here. Take notes. Look, this is what I want to tell you all. We need people to subscribe right here on YouTube to make sure that we increase our followers, and we just want you to like us, like it. You don't have to write anything or any petitions or anything, but that's the language of what we're doing now. And the more you help, the better it is for us. This we're going on, I think, our fourth year, and we started off doing this for our people. And we're not the person that give it back to the community. We are the community. So we are definitely looking forward to you supporting us. Like we are now in what do we have now? What's our number?
As far as the subscribers on
Yeah.
YouTube, we're at 1K.
Okay, so we
That's
have
all I
one.
can see on my end, but we've hit the 1K goal.
So that's
Um,
1,000.
that's
A thousand thousands equal a million. So that'll be great. We need you see how far we have to go. We want your make sure you get in there and do that for us, please. And I know Big Mama can help us. She is the best. So those of you that can give us a hand with that, we appreciate it. We going for a million. We want to do a million. Yeah, we want to do something that sounds impossible. Don't give us five. We want a lot. We want a million. So we're going to work on that. And we are definitely bringing sexy back to nutrition. We're bringing back the energy into nutrition, the interest in nutrition. All of this makes us up. Why wouldn't you be involved, or why wouldn't you want to be more involved with how wonderfully you're blessed? So thank you so very much, everybody. And we have something up on the screen there.
yes. It was from, or it's from Not Your Average Joe podcast. He says his 30-day, or I'll read it. My 30-day challenge. We're on day 14. They're
Oh,
on day
beautiful.
14.
Woo-hoo. And it's that's the he's at go ahead, read that up there, please. Is it New York? Oh, not your average
Not
Joe
Your Average Joe
podcast.
podcast. Yes.
Okay. There you
Not Your
go.
Average Joe podcast is on YouTube. So that is I'll put it up here. He just put it in the chat.
All right.
But yes, NYA Joe podcast on YouTube.
And another wonderful, I want to invite everybody out next week, which is the 21st, Saturday is the 21st already. And we're going to talk about cravings. Cravings. Oh, we're going to have a ball. I mean, really, you can really find out, why people crave for foods versus just being hungry.
Mm.
So we have a lot to share with you there. And guess who we're going to have?
Mm.
Dr. James in the
Woo-hoo.
house. And we're going to share with you. Make sure that you are all here and spread the news, spread the news, spread the news, spread the news. Got to do it, okay? All
Mhm.
right, for everybody from me, from Carolyn Zarif in the house, we're going to make sure that we're here for you, that we support you. And happy birthday to Chantel. Happy, happy birthday. We are so very, very pleased that you're going to enjoy. We know you're going to enjoy your day, and so just happy birthday. Thank you very, very much, everybody. The Smart family, you're in the house, and um, uh, Nurse Cheryl Lee. Thank you very much, and the entire audience out there. We really appreciate it, and we will see you next week. I'm Dr. Zarif, the nutritionist.